Those who know me, my name is Kat, K-E-T, Kat. I am the co-founder of Cordy Cat, right? Cordy Cat. So my wife is Cordelia, right? So her nickname is Cordy. So I am Cat. So together we are known as Cordy Cat. We are also the co-founders of Infinity Healing. We have our own energy healing modality, and we are the co-founders of Unity Qigong, right? We have our own Qigong. So those of you, if you were here early and if you were on grid view, you will see a lot of people doing hand motions and everything, right? So that is Unity Qigong. And if you're really interested, we have a class tonight. It is a very special Qigong. Now, Cordelia and I, we've been teaching and providing services in all these meditation, spirituality, energy healing, Qigong, crystals, feng shui. So mostly dealing with subtle energies and the kind of thing, psychic abilities. We've been doing since 2010, right? So 2020 would be like our 11th year. So we've been teaching people, we've been providing services. And of course, due to COVID, we are now, I think COVID is forcing everyone to go online. Okay, today's topic is on standing meditation, right? Standing meditation or ZhanZhuang. Standing meditation. The Chinese call it ZhanZhuang. Now, in case some of you are totally new to this, you might be wondering what it's about. So just let me put on the white screen. Whoa. All right. So in case you all don't know what it's about, now some of you might have seen people doing this in the park, right? Have you all seen people doing this in the park? Or have you all taken the subway or MRT and seen people doing this? Right, this is ZhanZhuang. This is the most common form. Okay, there's actually another form which I will also be covering today. So there's another form whereby people just stand and you see their hands just like that. They do nothing but just stand. So it's a form of standing meditation. It is a Qigong and Tai Chi practice. So I want to go ahead and explain more why people do this. Okay, so it is a Qigong and Tai Chi practice, and if you guys are familiar, in Qigong and Tai Chi, we believe in this thing called Qi or subtle energy, right? And the whole idea is to strengthen the subtle energies in the body. That's one of the most important things. But in Tai Chi, there's also another philosophy behind it, which is about relaxation. In Chinese, we call the term song, which is about relaxation, learning how to relax the body. Because what you're going to do is in standing meditation, some people they just stand like this and they stand for hours, right? So from what I heard, right, these are what I heard from people who went to Chen village. If you all know about Tai Chi started from supposedly, there are a few stories. So one of the places where it supposedly started from is from the from the Chen village in China, whereby practically most of the families in the village practice Tai Chi as a form of self-defense and for health. Okay, and one of the most critical training they demand of people who want to learn Tai Chi is you need to master standing meditation first, or together as you learn the forms of Tai Chi. Okay, and of course there's the other side of the story, which also has some truth to it, whereby Tai Chi supposedly comes from Buddha, from the Taoist sect, from Taoism, from the Taoist place. Okay, so there's actually two stories going around. Okay, but whatever it is, most people who practice standing meditation, they do it for Qi. Okay, now I'm just going to introduce to everyone, okay, a little bit about subtle energies in the human body. All right, so in the human body, so humans, right, we have three types of subtle energies. The first type It's called life force. Here I shall assume that everyone can see. Don't mind, I'm going to mute those whose mics are on. Right, if you need to communicate, just try to chat while I'm teaching. So the first subtle energy is called life force. The second subtle energy is called chi. Okay, some people spell chi as chi. The Chinese Hanyu pinyin way is qi. And there's a third subtle energy in the human body, which is prana. Those of you who are more familiar with subtle energies, you would probably scratch your head and go, hey, aren't all these the same? Now, I assure you, all these three subtle energies are actually different form of subtle energies. Okay, they are all subtle energies, the same way that there are many types of electromagnetic radiation. Light, visible light, for example, is a type of electromagnetic radiation. Your Wi-Fi signals, your TV broadcast, radio station broadcast, your microwave oven, microwaves, they're all electromagnetic radiation. They're all electromagnetic waves, right? But are they all the same? They're similar, but they are not the same. They're so similar in the sense that they all have electrical and magnetic properties. So they're called electromagnetic radiation, and they radiate, right? So they're a form of radiation. So they're all called electromagnetic radiation. But they are different because they have different wavelengths, different frequencies, and so on and so forth. So similarly, in humans, they have three types of subtle energies, and the frequencies are different, the quality is different, and the properties are different. So this is part of the basic knowledge that we teach in our foundation course for infinity healing, right? In our own infinity program, where we train energy healers and we train light workers, right? This is the first thing that we teach people, how to differentiate these three subtle energies. Okay. So life force, just a quick run through. So life force is a kind of cellular energy that you have as long as you are alive. If you die, the life force goes. Okay, so life force can be an indication of your health. Now the next energy is chi. So chi is the energy that flows in meridians and dantian. Okay, those of you who are familiar with the Chinese system, the Chinese subtle energy system, you've heard of chi. So the Chinese call all these subtle energies chi. Now I'm being very specific here. The energies, the subtle energies that flow in the meridians and dantian. So in the chi system, you have the energy centers, they're called dantians. Okay, so those that flow in the channels, meridians are one of them. There's different types of channels depending on the size and how much chi it carries. Right, so in meridians, where people do acupuncture, I'm sure most of you are familiar with acupuncture. Right, so the energy, the subtle energy that flows in meridians is actually called chi. Now, then you have the Indian system, right? In the Indian system, the term that they use is called prana. And they talk about energy centers called chakras. And they talk about, they talk about energy centers called chakras, and they talk about energy channels called nadis, right? Nadis are the energy channels. So the subtle energy that flows in that system is called prana. I'm just honoring the cultures that discover them, and I'm using back the terms because these three subtle energies, after you've learned to differentiate them and you learn under what conditions they are present, they are strong and they're weak in the infinity program, then you get to understand more. So you learn how to treat people differently. So these three subtle energies are different. All right. So I'm just going to give a very brief run through because the way I teach is I would like everyone to understand why they do the things that you do or why we do the things that we do, right? I understand a lot of teachers just show you, so this is the way it's done. You do it and you feel it. And if you ask me questions, don't ask questions, so maybe they don't know how to explain. So I'm going to try to explain to the best of my ability and knowledge and experience why we do the things that we do for standing meditation. So first of all, the basics is these three subtle energies. Now, roughly what does the three subtle energies look like in a human body, right? So in a human body, I'm just going to draw a human body, roughly. Okay, I hope it looks like human. Okay, so this is a guy, right? He's looking this way. He's seated. Okay, it's sort of like meditating posture, right? So just a quick run through. The life force is going to be, it's a cellular energy, so it's in all the cells. So I'm not going to mark it up. What I'm going to mark out first is for the chakras. So all of you have heard about chakras. Okay, maybe not all of you. So some of you have heard about chakras. If you go and Google it, chakras mean wheels because the energy is kind of circular. Okay, it's not just circular. In 3D, it kind of looks like a cone. Okay, an ice cream cone or something like this. So there are 7 chakras in general. Okay, about 90%, 95% of the people on Earth have a 7 major chakra system, right? So you have the top and the bottom, right? And then you have this ajna, the third eye. You have a throat chakra. You have a heart chakra. You have a solar plexus, and then you have a sacral chakra. So they kind of look like cones, okay? And please try and take note that I'm using color coding here. So the chakras I use red because it comes from the prana system. Okay, it comes from the prana system. And you're going to have the dantians. So the dantians is the energy centers for the chi system. So the energy centers for the chi system is going to be 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there are 2 systems, 2 energy systems. So these 2, the chi energy flows in a system, prana energy flows in a system. Life force doesn't really need a system. It piggybacks these 2 systems because it's a cellular energy, right? So you have the 3 energy centers for the chi system and the 7 energy systems, which are chakras for the prana system. Okay, so this is just a very basic understanding for you to know where the location is. I can't cover too much, right? Just to explain to you all this. Now, the next thing that everyone needs to know is the importance of the hands, right? The importance of the hands, because our hands too have chakras and have chi flowing in it. Okay, if you guys want to know more, you can nowadays everyone can just Google. Okay, so what I just marked out here are major chakras. They are actually major and minor chakras. Major means the bigger ones. All right, the bigger ones, they all flow. Now I'm going to point out something very important to you here. Everyone here is essentially, okay, what the line that I've just drawn is the spinal column. The spinal column. And of course, everyone knows there's a brain here. If you don't know, our brain is connected to our spine. Okay, you can Google that. Our brain is connected to the spine. So while this represents the upper dantian for the chi system, it's actually our brain. So our brain is connected to the spinal column. So what is happening is actually all the energy centers, the major energy centers, they're all connected to the spine. Okay, this is another thing that I would like everyone to take note of. Okay, so this is for the body. Now the next thing that we want to take note of is the hands. So we have 7 major chakras on the torso, on the body. Now for our palms, each of our palms, we have minor chakras on each of our palms. So you can imagine a sort of a tiny cone on each palm. Okay, so there's a chakra, a minor chakra on our palms. And the other thing that we need to learn about is chi meridians and the way chi flows. Okay, because the standing meditation practice actually comes mostly from the Chinese culture. Mostly from the Chinese culture, where they talk about the chi flow, right? About how subtle energies flow, and the main subtle energy they're concerned with is chi energy. So first thing is we're going to learn how does chi flow. Okay, those who can't see, okay, my apologies. Okay, can you guys see better this way? Okay, so this should make the words clearer. Now, those who are new here, you can use the chat function on this WebEx, right? So on the WebEx, you go down at the bottom of your screen. There is a chat function. It looks like a conversation icon. So you can click a chat, right? And then I will be able to see your chats. In case you have any question, I will be addressing everyone's question to the best of my ability. Okay. So now we're going to move on. So the next thing that we're going to learn about is the qi flow. Okay. Now in qigong, in tai chi, everyone is trying to achieve this qi flow. Okay. They want the qi to flow down the front. Okay, down. The direction is down. Okay, down the front and up the back. Okay, up the back. And there's even a term for it. Okay, the Chinese term is called 小周天. In English, we call it the microcosmic orbit. Microcosmic orbit. All right. So in Qigong, in Tai Chi, in Kung Fu practitioners, everyone is talking about Qi, and what everyone is trying to achieve with it. Microcosmic orbit is to get this Qi flow to flow down the front and up the back. And if you can get this Qi to flow in this way, right, you're supposed to achieve, some say immortality, actually not immortality, longevity, and it's supposed to help with a lot of health problems. Okay, so I've seen this happening with a lot of people ever since I learned it and I teach it. Of course, I learned it, and I've seen even my compatriots when they were learning qigong and all this type of stuff. Right, a lot of like amazing, some even miraculous recoveries can happen, and this mostly is due to qi. Just to let everyone know, if you want to heal, if you want your physical health to be good, these are the two energies that we're talking about: life force and qi. Right? If you want emotional and mental health, right, you need your prana to be strong. Right? A lot of people, they can have a strong physical body, but when they have emotional and mental issues, their prana is always weak. So overall, if you have all these three subtle energies balanced, right, you will be very healthy and very fit, and you in all aspects of self. It's not just physical, right? We understand health is not just about physical body. Mental health, emotional health is equally important. If you're unhappy, you're depressed, there goes your prana. It goes down to like almost zero, right? And you know life is miserable, so miserable that you want to end your life. This is what happens to people with depression. They can have chi and life force strong, but their prana is zilch or very low, very weak. And this is how we help people. We help identify the subtle energies that are weak, and we help heal it accordingly. Okay, so this is the qi flow that we're trying to achieve. This is like the magic thing. Okay, magic thing in qigong and tai chi. Everyone wants to achieve microcosmic orbit. Now we're going to go back to the hands. So all the basic knowledge for qi system is there are 12 meridians. Okay, 12 meridians that flows around the body and to the internal organs. So we want the meridians to be unblocked, to be not blocked, and that's what acupuncture is trying to achieve, right? Acupuncture is trying to you insert a needle somewhere and you're trying to unblock the meridians or acupressure points to get the meridians to flow. So a very simple thing that I would like everyone to remember is this. Now, there are 12 meridians, and all 12 meridians flow through our hands. Our hands. Okay? So our hands is actually very important for physical health. So roughly, okay, there are 3 channels on the top part, 3 yang channels, 3 yin channels on the internal. So this makes 6 on one hand. So 6 plus 6 is 12. So all 12 meridians flow in our hands. And at the end of it, there is a minor chakra at the palm. So our hands are actually very important. And for those who are doing energy healing, at the basic level, right, we all start with healing using our hands, because our hands are designed to be the output, right? designed to be an output for us. Whether when we do work, everything, we are using our hands. And that's why all the energy flows to our hands. Okay? And when you come to standing meditation, you will see that we involve the hands, right? So you have standing meditation this way, and you have standing meditation this way, right? The hands are involved. Okay, so I would like everyone to understand the very basics. So you have this human body, you have the hands, you have the chi flowing. Okay, now the way I do standing meditation is I incorporate all the knowledge I have. Okay, I try because I'm an energy healer, so I'm into all this energy stuff, and there are many practices that I do. Okay, I do different types of meditation, different types of energy practices because we all have 24 hours a day, right? And because I know quite a lot of different techniques, I need to optimize the time that I have, right? So I have a young child, 3-year-old, and it takes up a lot of time. I still need to do work and everything. And it's the same for everybody, isn't it? Right? We all have limited time. So how to maximize productivity and to have more effects, right? To gain more from our standing meditation. So I'm just going to share with you all the basic things that I do. And of course, there are higher, more complicated things that I can't cover today. I'm going to share with you guys the way I do it, and if you do it the same way that I do, it will you should see results much better than just doing normal standing meditation. So first thing we're going to talk about standing meditation is your warm up. Okay, now I'm just going to teach very simple warm up, right? Just one warm up that you should do before doing, in fact, any qigong, any tai chi, or standing meditation, right? And this warm up is very simple, right? All you need to do, right, is stand. Okay, so let me put on the wide angle. All right. So all you need to do is stand with your feet roughly shoulder width apart, slightly wide, not too wide because you might feel uncomfortable or your thighs might tire if it's too wide. The other thing is always bear in mind when you're standing in Qigong, your knees need to be a little bent. Never lock your knees. So those who are into yoga, I think the same advice is given. Never lock your knees. Now, why is that so? Okay, this is a very key point. If you want energy to flow, especially qi, okay, you cannot have straight lines. Qi flows when it's curved. Energy flows when the path is curved, especially for qi. For prana, not so much. For qi and life force, if you want it to flow, your body must be curved. So those of you, if you observe Tai Chi, and if you observe closely Qigong, right, certain Qigong, especially the softer forms, okay, because the softer forms in Qigong, we are more focused on subtle energies and the Qi, okay. Other forms, there are different types of Qigong, right? So they train different things. But if you observe the softer forms, Tai Chi, which is kind of like a Qigong anyway. Now in Tai Chi does not have punch, right? We have some people here which I recognize, they practice Tai Chi. But Tai Chi, you don't punch. That's like, wow. Taekwondo or karate, they have a pop and a punch. In Tai Chi, it's all very smooth. We just go, this our punch, like this, right? And it's all curved because we want to borrow the power of qi. We want to borrow the power of subtle energies, and this push in Tai Chi is way more powerful than any push you can do with a straight hand. Because a guy like me, okay, when you train enough, you can push a guy who's very big because you are harnessing the energy of qi, and when the qi flows, you can just push a guy who's like double your weight with one hand. Okay, so in Qigong, in Tai Chi, if you want energy flow, you need to make sure your joints are curved. So when you stand, we want our knees to be slightly bent. There's actually a standard, right? So a lot of teachers will advise you this. If you want your knees to be bent, try to bend such that your knees are above your toes and not beyond. You don't need to bend beyond. If you bend beyond, it's considered slightly over bent, especially if you're doing standing meditation. So the guideline is you just bend your knees because you can look down, right? You look down, you bend your knees such that your knees just cover your toes, and that's it. Okay. Now the other part that is going to be important is how do you stand with your feet? Okay. So now I'm not going to show you my feet. Now I'm just going to use my palms as the feet. Okay. So if you're going to look at your feet, right? So imagine my hands are the feet. So when you're doing standing meditation, you want your feet to be parallel. Parallel. You don't want it to be this V shape, and you don't want it to be inverted this way. Now, why is this so? Right? The question is why. Because I think anyone who is on this, you will hear you want parallel feet, but how parallel, how to do it properly, and everything. Right? I'm going to share with you all. So most of us, our feet. I hope you all can get me. So this is the inside is the big toe. Now our feet, most people's feet are kind of like V-shaped, right? It's broader towards the toes for most people. Unless you have bunions or if you're ladies who wear a lot of high heels, then you end up very sharp. So you want the internal side to be straight, not the external side. It's more comfortable this way, okay? I'm just giving a very simple guideline. You want your internal side to be straight. Because we're always talking parallel. Because if you use the external sides parallel, you're going to end up with inverted, right? You're going to end up with inverted. Now, so this is the way you should be standing with your feet, right? So this is the toe, right? This is the big toe, right? So this, you want to stand with your feet roughly shoulder width, okay? And your knees should be above your toe, right? This is the way you want to stand. Now, the next thing is why do we do it this way? Now you will notice that if your feet is a big V, if your feet is a big V, and especially when you're doing standing meditation, you're going to be so still because you're supposed to stand for at least as long as you can. So there could be like half an hour, there could be like 1 hour, and some people do 2 hours, 3 hours. So I think for most beginners, if you can do even 15 minutes, even 10 minutes, it's going to be really great, right? So try to aim for half an hour a day if you can. So now if you stand, you're going to notice this. Especially when you close your eyes, you're going to find that sometimes your balance is not very good. Okay, so if you open up your feet wide, you're going to find that you're going to find that right your balance it kind of leans towards the back. Okay, it depends how you position your weight and everything. And if you do it this way, whereby your feet is this way, you're going to find that your knees are going to hurt. Okay, you're going to find that your knees are going to hurt. So just from the sake of balancing, you will want to plant your feet this way. Now the other thing is when you plant your feet this way, so those of you who are flat-footed, anyone flat-footed over here? Now when the energy starts flowing, if your feet is this way, you will notice that your flat feet might even automatically correct itself. Now I'm sharing with you all this because I am flat-footed. Okay, I'm flat-footed and I am trying to use my standing meditation practice to correct my flat feet. Okay, flat feet can be corrected. Okay, just that if the older you are, the more difficult. So if you start from a young age, it can be corrected. In fact, I've heard of Qigong masters who can even heal flat feet. Okay, so this is the way you stand, and it's quite important. So the next thing is, we're just at the warm up, right? So the next thing is the warm up. This is just one warm up. What you need to do for your warm up is, so you're standing, your feet proper and everything. You're just going to do hand swings. Okay. Now there are actually a lot of things to talk about when it comes to this hand swing, right? But I'm just going to show you without complicating things. So you just need to do hand swings. Now the idea is when you swing, if possible, right? You try to look at the person behind you. Imagine there's someone behind you. If you can, you follow the motion of your hands and look behind you. Now, the way you do this hand swings is your hands should be relaxed. Okay, your hands should be relaxed so that, can you hear? My hands are slapping myself. Now, why is this one single, just a warm up? One single warm up so important? The first thing is this, we just learned about the way the subtle energies work in our body. Now, all the flow is to the spine. The centers are connected to the spine. If you can loosen your spine, you're going to free up the energy channels. You're going to allow the energy channels to be unblocked and for the subtle energies to flow in your body. So just a very simple warm-up, you will get you doing that. And you are swinging your hands. Remember, our hands, we have all the 12 meridians go flowing, and we have a minor chakra there. Okay? So you want to activate this, and so that by the time we do standing meditation, because when we do standing meditation, we'll be either putting our hands up this way or hands down by the sides. You will have activated and unblocked as much as possible, right? The meridians and to a certain degree some of the chakras, right? It's like if you learn in yoga, the whole point of doing all the yoga postures, all the asanas, is to help you unblock the energy channels and energy centers in the body. That is one of the things that we're trying to do. So this is just one warm up, and this is by far, to me, okay, the most important warm up that I do. Without fail, I do 50 sets every day. So one right, one left is one set. So I will count to 100. 1, 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth. I do it 100 every day before breakfast, right? And anyone here have constipation or anything, right? This is great for constipation because as you're twisting, right, you're freeing up your intestines. If you have constipation in the morning, right, so you do this, you're going to find that your bowel is going to help your bowel movements. And remember to do this before food because you don't want to have a full stomach and you twist left and right and you're going to belch out your stuff. Okay, so this is a very important warm up. Okay, that's the warm up. I hope everyone gets it. Let me just check to see whether there are any questions. Any questions on the chat groups? All right. Okay. So if you want the chat, please send on the WebEx itself. And if you really need to ask a question using audio, you can switch on your audio. I would like to remind everyone that I'm recording this session. So if you speak, you will be recorded together with your face. So if you're very shy, you can switch off your video. Otherwise, you please switch on your video so that I can see what you're doing and I can give pointers where applicable. Okay. So that was just the warm up. Now, I will start with the warm up, and normally before I proceed to standing meditation, does someone want to speak? Jenny?
Yeah, I would like to know, Mr. Ken, how to do the recording so that in future I can refer again.
Oh, for participants, you all can't record. Only I can record.
Oh, I see. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Good. So if you guys want to record, you have to take your device, another device, and it's kind of like piracy kind of recording. But the official recording comes from my side, and I was explaining to everyone earlier right? I'm not even sure that I will use the recording or I will post it up because I'm not good at video editing and all this kind of stuff. I'm just recording because I found out it can be done, and because I paid for annual subscription, it comes with this recording function and some cloud storage. So I'm recording it, and in case, because I don't intend to teach this standing meditation class every day or every month. It's not part of the plan, but if there's really a demand, maybe I will be doing that. This is the second online standing meditation class, right? The first class was there were not so many people. It was just a handful of people because the people who actually requested it, they wanted to do it at 6 a.m. and it ended up most people couldn't wake up at 6 a.m. to do it. So this month I'm doing it at 10 a.m. At a more early time. Okay, so we just covered the warm up. Now, what are the other things that we want to do? Now, understand this. You are going to stand there in standing meditation, and if your standing meditation is your main practice, you will want to optimize your time. Otherwise, you're just going to stand there for half an hour, for 1 hour. So what I do is this. You make sure you do your warm up to activate and unblock your energy channels so that when you're standing, you get more out of it. And the next thing that I actually do is I do Unity Qigong, right? Unity Qigong. Now, this is not a class for Unity Qigong. Just to share with you all a little bit about Unity Qigong. So Unity Qigong is a Qigong that is I would say is very effective. If you've seen some of the testimonials on Unity Qigong that I post up on our Facebook. So if you want to look for us on the internet, you can go to Facebook, you type Cats, or you go to YouTube, you can see some videos. Just search for Cats on Facebook or YouTube, you can see some of our stuff there. Now, Unity Qigong is not an ordinary Qigong, right? How it came to us is it came to us through meditation, somewhere in end of 2015, right? So Cordelia and I, we were meditating, and then we started seeing visions of how this Qigong can be done. We tried it for ourselves, we found it very amazing, right? And we were using it for ourselves, and we taught to our disciples. Yes, we have disciples who are learning community healing, learning how to do the things that we do, right? So we taught to our disciples. It was kind of an internal practice for us for a while, and we realized how effective it is and how much it can help people. Because Unity Qigong strengthens all three types of subtle energies in the human body. It strengthens all three types, right? So Unity Qigong actually strengthens all three types of subtle energies in the body. It helps us release negative energies and increase our positive energies. So a lot of people who have a lot of like even mental conditions, psychiatric conditions, they do enough YouTube and it all goes away. So we decided in middle of 2016, somewhere in July, you can see in YouTube our first and currently the only Unity Qigong video. We posted it and we shared it online, and we've been teaching it to the public ever since. And now you get to learn for free, particularly free. It's just donation basis. If you're interested, tonight 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Malaysia and China time, GMT plus 8 hours, you can learn Unity Qigong. Right, so what I do is I spend some time to do Unity Qigong to unblock the energy channels in my body so that by the time I get to standing meditation, I reap the most benefits from standing meditation. Okay, so I do some warm-ups, then I do Unity Qigong, and then I go and do standing meditation. So we'll talk about standing meditation now. Again, let me put back on the wide angle. Okay, so the first standing meditation I would like to teach is actually the one with the hands down. Okay, now in the previous month, I taught the one with the hands up this way because that is the most common form. But actually, if you want to start with standing meditation, the better way is to start with the hands down. So hands down, again, the standing, you do this standing, your knees are bent, right? Now, when you do the hands down, I want you to imagine what's important is you do not close off your armpits. You don't close off your armpits. You want to imagine as if you're holding a ping pong ball, table tennis ball, right? It's in between your armpits. So your arms are curved. Remember, we talk about curve. You want curve so that the energies will flow. Okay? So you want curve so that your energies will flow. So this is the hands down version. So it kind of looks, some people call it the standing bear. It looks like a bear standing, right? It looks kind of like a bear standing. I'm just going to tilt the camera a bit. Right, so you can see me. So it kind of looks like a bear standing this way. So this is a hands down version. The more important thing is we're going to talk about how to stand for the spine. How to stand for the spine. Now, while standing, I'm just going to show you, right? We want our spine to be as straight as possible, but neutral spine. Okay, there's a term called neutral spine. Neutral spine. For all those people in body work or body alignment, I think you all will use this term. You want kind of like a neutral spine. Now, what do I mean by neutral spine? So, if you don't mind, right? So, a lot of ladies, especially, or most of us, we are conditioned to walk straight with the idea that our shoulders, we want to open wide our chest, and we want to stick out our butt, right? A lot of people are taught this way, correct? Especially for females, because you want to look good, you want your butt to be sexy, you want a butt sway kind of thing, so you want to stick out your spine. But in Qigong, in Tai Chi, we don't want that. We want a neutral spine. Now, what do I mean by neutral spine? Almost by default, I mean, if you're looking this way, our spine is like this. Okay, can you see this is our spine? If you're looking this way, so our tailbone kind of sticks out this way. And some people will stick out your butt so much that the last bit will stick out even more like this. Okay? And of course, the head is connected here. Now, in Qigong and everything, what we're trying to achieve is we want the spine to be slightly less curved. You will still get the curve, make no doubt. You need the lumbar curve. But you want the spine, pardon my drawing, you want the spine to kind of point downwards. Now, why is this so? Now, it has to do with the prana system. So this chakra, which is the Muladhara, the root chakra, base chakra, it connects to the end of the spine. So if your spine is curved this way, then you're going to end with a chakra that points this way, a bit bent. You want it such that, where possible, what we're trying to achieve here is this. We want the chakra to point down. So we want a neutral spine so that this chakra will point down, and on top, our crown chakra will connect to the heavens. Now in Qigong, there is this very important idea that in terms of energies, there's heaven, man, and earth. So as the man, we want to connect with heaven, and our energies, our feet, and our energies need to connect with earth. So we want to do it this way. And in fact, it happens very naturally. I have a 3-year-old son, right? And I have body workers who are my disciples and clients. I point out to them, you observe young children, babies, their spine are actually quite neutral. They do not stick out their butts, because this sticking out of butts is learned over time, right? In our culture of wanting to look sexy. So, in fact, young children and babies, their spine is more neutral, and it's actually quite achievable. Okay, so how do we achieve it? We start by using the hands down standing meditation practice. Okay, so again, now in the hands down standing practice, all you need to do is this. Okay, you want to imagine your spine is being pulled up by a string attached to the ceiling. So you're kind of elongating your spine to get it less curved. Still curved, less curved. So there's a spine, there's a string pulling your head up, right? Pulling your head up. And you kind of want to make sure that your chin is tucked instead of sticking your nose up. Why? Again, we want the crown chakra, the top of our head, to actually be kind of vertical. We're trying to achieve this vertical connection here. Vertical connection to heaven and vertical connection downwards to earth. Now, it happens very naturally by itself. Why do I say so? So when you stand this way, you pull it up. The next thing you're going to do is you exhale. And when you exhale by imagining all the tension in your body, all the energies flow downwards, a relaxation from head to toe. So you just relax and you exhale. As you exhale, again, it may be difficult to see, but you need to practice it for yourself. So I'm trying to show you from the sideways. So even if I was taking out my butt, so when I exhale and I relax from head to toe, relaxing from head to toe, very naturally, you will find that your spine points down. Okay? And for you all to observe, I notice this. People who do this a lot, right? You're going to find that as you're doing just this simple standing meditation, this is just kind of the get ready stage, right? As you exhale, you're going to find that, for me, I'm going to find that I'm going to have a lot of, I will be adjusting my spine, I'll be twisting my neck. The energy, the chi flow will try to get you to do some twist to unblock some certain things in this flow. Okay, it's very natural. So the whole idea is this: your exhale when you're standing. So you have to do this many times. Your head upwards, your hands like this, and you exhale. Right? You get the posture right. You do it a few times until you can feel it. You're so relaxed that you're no longer sticking out your butt. It's very simple, right? So all you need to do is exhale, relax yourself, and your spine goes to the position where it's supposed to go. Now, for the people who are used to sticking out their butts, it might take a while because you have conditioned yourself like many, many years to stick out your butt, right? So over time, you will notice it's a very natural tendency. You breathe out, right? And it goes down. Now, the next thing is, what are we going to do with our hands? Okay, so after you've done a few of that, what you're going to focus on is your hands. You're going to imagine your hands reach down, kind of like Plastic Man, kind of like Mr. Fantastic. You extend your hands. Of course, physically, your hands can't extend, okay? What you're doing is you're trying to reach out with your hands to connect with Earth. So in terms of subtle energies, in terms of energy, your hands are connecting to Earth. So I want you to try this, okay? So you're standing, you just exhale, and as you exhale, the energy goes down. As it goes down, imagine your fingers connect to Earth. You do it with a few breaths, right? And you will notice that you kind of get a tingling sensation in your fingers, right? So if you do it, right, just stand, your knees slightly shoulder width apart, slightly bent, right? Imagine a string pulling up there, and then you just relax and you breathe. Imagine your hands and fingers connect to Earth, and you just focus on your exhale. Each time you exhale, you bring the energies and relaxation down. Okay, you relax yourself from head to toe, and when you do that, you're doing something called grounding. This is grounding. So you're learning how to ground and how to relax yourself. Now, in Tai Chi, this is one of the more important forms of standing meditation, depending on your lineage, depending on your teacher, because it teaches us to relax ourselves and to fully ground and connect to the earth. And that's when we become powerful, because The earth has way more chi than our body has. Okay? So you just breathe out and you relax. Okay? So how many of you can start to feel tingling in your hands and fingers? Right? Good. Okay, then you're doing correct. So this is I would say this is the more important standing meditation that you do as a beginner. And I'm going to tell you why. Now, most of us, when we start out doing any of this energy work, most of our bodies are blocked. Our energy channels are blocked. We have a lot of negative energies that we accumulate from stresses of the day, from the environment, from people. So we have a lot of negative energies. So if you want to achieve the best results, you start with this hands down, and as you're relaxing, you're grounding all your negative energies, and you're clearing all the channels. So you're clearing a lot of negative energies. You keep grounding and keep grounding. I would recommend anyone who's serious about standing meditation, you start with this posture and it's going to make a lot of difference. Because anyone who's doing standing meditation, and even if you start with this, right, you notice that it's very difficult to get any results from this posture unless you've done a lot of it. But if you start with this hands down, the best, some people call it the bear posture, bear stance, right? You're going to find that you achieve much faster results, especially you do the warm-ups and you do unity qigong, you do it, right? You're going to get much more results. Okay, so that is just to cover the standing meditation with the hands down position. The next one I'm going to cover for completeness 6 is the hands up. So you want to do maybe like a month, at least a month of daily practice with hands down before you progress to the hands up. So the hands up is the same thing, the way you stand and everything. The only thing is how do you put your hands up. So this is where the anatomy is very important, right? So now if you were to watch me, okay, I'm just going to show you. When I put my hands up is here, okay? Where is it exactly? Okay, you want the palms this way. If I were to show you in front, right? My hands are almost touching, but they are not touching. Almost touching. Okay, so if I were to bend to show you, right? So my palms are in front of my solar plexus. So you want to put your hands here. You want to put your palms here. Why do you want to put your palms here? Okay, that's the question. Now, in the first version of the hands down version, you are doing grounding, you're learning to relax your body, right? You're learning to clear your energy channels. You want to clear your energy channels. The hands up position is for gathering chi, is for collecting chi, is to build up of chi in your body. This is what the hands up position is for. So if you put your palms in front of the solar plexus, now the solar plexus have a solar plexus chakra. This is the solar plexus chakra. This is the middle dantian. This is what we call the middle dantian. Maybe it's too small for you to see. MDT. Put a mark there. Middle dantian. Now the purpose of the middle dantian is to generate chi, to generate energy. Okay? So you want to put your palms there, and please take note, my elbow is curved. My elbow is curved, and the palms are in front of the solar plexus. So that any chi that is generated by the solar plexus does not go beyond your hands. And you will collect a pool of chi in front of you. And if you collect enough, you will feel the energies, and you will even feel it flowing, moving circular motion, and so on and so forth. So the next thing that you do in standing meditation is you move on to your hands up, and you want to collect chi, right? You want to start building up your chi, and this is what it's for. So the thing is this: if you straight from the onset, you start with your hands up position, you might encounter a problem with collecting negative energies, because we have a lot of negative energies in our body. You just end up collecting a lot of negative energies, and if you're very sensitive to energies, it's going to feel yucky. Okay, it's going to feel like, ugh, there's so much negative energies there. So you want to start with the hands down, then you move on to the hands up position, right? Now, I'm going to give you some tips. When you're doing the hands up position, okay, I'm just going to show you. You want your thumb to be up. Up, not down. Up. Why is this so? So I was minor chakra here and the meridians flow to the palms. Now, if you lower your thumb, you're going to find that the energy channel is going to get blocked at the palm. If you lift up your thumb, right, you're going to find that the energy flows stronger. Okay, this is a very important tip that can make all the difference in your practice. If you've been doing standing meditation like this, right, do standing meditation like this because you're taught to relax, right? You're taught to relax your arms and everything. Yes, relax. But when your thumbs are down, you find that the energy does not quite collect. And all you need to do is pop, raise up your thumbs, and you find that, whoa, right? And you put your palms in front of your solar plexus, in front of your middle dantian, you're going to find the chi going to build up exponentially faster, way faster. So these are very important points, and it comes from the understanding of our energy anatomy, right? And even this thumb thing, right, is an understanding of the way energy works. So you want your thumb to be up. Now the next thing with this hands up thing is this. In Tai Chi, you always, for the Chinese speaking, you hear this term, 含胸拔背. 含胸拔背. I think okay, pardon me, my Chinese is not very good, but it roughly translates into you want to hunch, kind of like hunch a little bit, hunch your chest. You want to cave in your chest, and you want to open your back. So now, chi flows in curves and in circles, in circular motion. Everything is about rounded. So if you want to collect chi, you want to kind of round it. So your chest need to cave in, right? Cave in. Now, some people use a sunken chest, okay? 含胸, okay? 拔背is to stretch your back. Now, from the physical perspective, when you do this, you actually expand your lung capacity. You take note, if you're doing it correctly, your lungs should be taking in more air, more oxygen, because you are expanding your lungs at the back, right? And the other thing is, everything is relaxed. Remember, now it's about exhaling and relaxing from head to toe. So if you do your 含胸拔背, right, you cave in your chest, you open up, you stretch your back. You kind of stretch your back. Don't overdo it. And if you're relaxing, you notice that, hey, your breath, your lungs kind of open up. So your lungs get more capacity by opening sideways and to the back, right? And everything happens naturally with the breath, okay? The focus is the breath. Now, what happens naturally? If you're relaxing from head to toe, you will notice that your shoulders will relax and your shoulders will kind of droop. Your shoulders will droop, your hands will droop, your elbow must be lower than your palms. Your elbow must be lower than your palms, right? Because you want the energy to flow down and up and down, so it's circulating in front of you. So the breath is key. Everything happens naturally by itself, but what do you achieve? So the string is pulling up, you put your palms above here now. Where's the solar plexus? Okay, I'm just going to show you all. Don't mind, okay? Now, if you lift up your there's a cavity in the chest, right? There's a cavity. So that is the solar plexus. You want your palm, you're not sure, you want to put your palm here at the cavity. For the lady, it's kind of where the bra strap is, right? You put here, you extend it outwards. This is roughly where it is. So it's not too high. Some people too high and too low. If you're advanced, you can start. You want, you can try, okay? You want, you can try. I'm just trying to shorten the process for everyone, so you do it this way, okay? Right in front of the solar plexus. Now the thing is this: standing meditation is essentially a Tai Chi and Qi practice. So it strengthens mostly the Qi and life force. it does not strengthen your prana. It doesn't do much to strengthen your prana, doesn't do much to strengthen your chakras. So what I do is this. I incorporate what we call light meditation. Light meditation, Codicat, they also teach light meditation. So I don't like to waste time. So what I'm going to do is, as I'm standing, I'm doing light meditation, right? So light meditation is very simple. Now, the thing is this: when we are doing standing meditation, one of the advice is you want to stand. For example, the best position to stand is next to a tree. Next to a tree with good energies. Now, for most of you, you probably cannot sense or differentiate what is good and what's not so good energies, right? So try to choose a healthy tree. Now, if those of you are familiar, we also hear stories that sometimes there are spirits that reside in trees and so on and so forth. So you don't know whether you are going to a haunted tree or what and so forth. But one of the advice is this: if you want to get a lot of chi from your standing meditation practice, you want to go to a park, you want to do it barefooted, right? You want to do it barefooted, and I'm going to give share some tips about doing all this. So the thing is this: we don't know whether the energies in the park or near the tree is positive or negative. So that is why we start off with light meditation. In fact, I incorporate light meditation into my standing qigong practice. So what we do is, I've done unity qigong, and I will do some standing, and I will do light meditation, which will shine a protection of light, of prana around me to protect me from negative energy. It's supposed to look like a circle, right? I don't want to draw a circle and mess up the rest of the board. So you want to be protected by invisible light that shines from your physical heart. Okay, it's just very simple. It's a very simple thing to do. I can't explain everything. If you are interested, please join the light meditation class. It's a class for 1 hour and 15 minutes, theory and practice again. So we do light meditation. We imagine there's a pure light shining from the heart, right? So that we are in a ball, and then we do it. So it protects us from negative energies. At the same time, it strengthens our prana system and our chakras. So I do my light meditation together with my standing meditation. So I'm taking off all the things that I want to do daily. In one practice, I'm doing both light meditation and standing meditation at the same time. And the light meditation is protecting me from negative energies that might come from the tree or the park. Okay? So this is the way I do standing meditation. Now, just an advice, some tips now. I'm going to remind everyone now, when you go to the park, the idea is standing barefooted is always best. Okay, you want to be able to connect with earth with the least resistance. Now, of course, sometimes you want to wear shoes and sandals is totally understandable. I just share with you what I do, okay? So I stand barefooted. What I do is I get one of the cushion covers. Cushion covers, you have a cushion. Now, I take one of my cushion covers that I want to throw away. I take one that's made of cotton. Okay, you want fully natural material. And then I put it on the ground and I stand on top of it. So roughly a lot of those are reasonable size ones, not too small. You find it is roughly shoulder width. So you have a good marking for how wide you want to stand. The wider it is, the more pain you're going to get in your thighs, okay? So don't need to be too wide shoulder width. So I take one, I put it on the ground now, and I want it to be made of cotton. Now, why is this so? Now, if we go to the park, one of the problems we're going to get is this. A lot of times, depending on where you are, you're going to have morning dew and the grass is wet. Now, if you stand on wet grass, you are doing your standing meditation, you're going to absorb the wet energy or the damp into your body, and that can cause rheumatism or rheumatoid arthritis. Okay, the water can go into your bones. So there are even a few people here I know who have learned Qigong healing. we actually learn that rheumatism is caused by damp, by water, energy that goes and collects in our bones, right? So if you have too much water or cold energy in our bones, you can end up with rheumatism or rheumatoid arthritis. It can actually be removed by energy, right? By qigong healing. Those qigong healers, right now you know about it. So I do the same thing for people, and I used to have this problem. I used to have rheumatism right back when I was in my early 30s. Okay, in case you're wondering how old I am, okay, I understand I look very young. Okay, I'm 44 this year. I'm 44 this year, right? And I just cut my hair yesterday, right? So I look even younger, right? So I understand I look very young. I don't look like a teacher, but I started this journey in my 30s, right? So 11 years old, around 33. So in my early 30s, even before that, I had rheumatism problems because my room was very damp. My hometown where I live, my house is next to the hills, and you know, with the hills, there's the morning fog and mist, and my room is on the ground floor, so I get a lot of damp. Right, even the wooden furniture in my home, they get musty, they have fungal growth. So I absorbed it a lot into my body, and I was starting to show rheumatism problems and pains when I was in my early 30s. That was until I met some Qigong masters who helped me purge out this damp and cold energy. And of course, I've learned how to do that since, right? And I'm helping other people like that. So you want to be careful. You don't want to stand on damp or wet grass. So the cushion cover is going to be helpful. And if you use it or use something that's made of cotton, natural material, because you don't want anything like polyester or a lot of the I don't know, all nowadays a lot of clothes, they are made of plastic, and plastic is an insulator, right? It's an insulator, so that's going to cut off your connection to earth energy. So you want to use it made out of cotton. Cotton is better. All right, so that is my practice, and I hope that by sharing with you all, you'll get to understand why I do the way that I do, and you guys can incorporate some of the tips into your own standing meditation practice. And if you do so, you're going to find that you're probably going to have more results in a quicker time. All right. So I'm going to take questions now. If you want to use audio, right, you just switch on your audio and ask. Otherwise, you can use the chat function, right? Use the chat function. You look for it at the bottom of your screen. It looks like, those comics conversation piece, and you type it out and I'll address your questions. All right. Any questions, anybody? I'm going to remove the wide angle.
Okay, good morning. I'd like to ask if you have shortness of breath, how do you overcome it, brother?
By slowing down your breath and try to do, like, for example, all these we learn breathing exercises. Even in qigong the breath is very important. In yoga, the breath is important. So you need to learn to relax and take slow breaths. That is the first thing. Okay, you want to take slow breaths. So for example, one of the ways that people try to cure asthma is to send the kids to go for swimming, right? And when you go for swimming, you have no choice but to learn how to breathe in time with your strokes and everything. And it may be difficult at first, but you will overcome it. So it's very simple. Slow down your breaths, and this standing meditation practice can help you do just that, right? You stand and you relax, and you try to relax from head to toe. Some people do a visualization technique. What kind of visualization? They imagine, like a scanner or photocopy machine. The light goes from top to bottom, and then you follow top to bottom, and you relax with your exhale. Okay. All right. Kevin is Jenny. I hope that answers the question.
Because I experience frequent of shortness of breath when I go upstairs. That is my major problem, and at night I can't sleep well.
Yes. So now it's going to be very simple. Now you probably, from lack of exercise, so you need to exercise a little bit more. So you do more qigong. I would advise you to do this. try to learn Unity Qigong and practice it. So I think you were one of those who log in early. You will see that a lot of the regulars, they were doing the hand motions this way, this way. That is Unity Qigong, okay? Unity Qigong is very effective. If you've not seen the testimony, go to Facebook, search Cordy Cat, right? Go to my Facebook page, and then you look, you even can view screenshot testimonies, or you can view video testimonies. It's very amazing. It will, just by doing Unity Qigong, you can do it standing or seated, right? It will help you with a lot of health problems, a lot. Okay, so that's my advice to you. And tonight we have a class, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m., Malaysia or China time, GMT +8.
Okay, thank you. I look forward to tonight.
Okay, see you too. Okay, Kevin has a question. Any advice for knee pain when bending the knee? Okay, now, if you really have knee pain, right, you will notice that bending your knees and you do it over time, right? Whether, especially when you're standing, it will strengthen your tendons and ligaments around the knee so that it can help you support the knee. If you lock your knees, you're going to cause more damage to the cartilage, right, to the meniscus, and it's no good for your knee. So you need to learn how to bend your knee. So the first thing is bending your knee. Now, having said that, if you really have leg problems, knee problems, and you can't do standing meditation, like someone asked in the last class in last month, you can actually do standing meditation seated. You can, right? You can do standing meditation seated. The whole idea is, actually our feet also has a chakra that helps us connect to earth. So standing meditation has an advantage over, for example, seated meditation, in that standing meditation, or when you're seated on a chair, right, where your feet is on the ground, it helps us ground more. So you can do the same, right? You can do the same. If you have knee problem, you sit on a chair and you make sure your feet are on the ground, right? So it's bent, it's just it's more bent than when you're standing. And you can do the relaxation and everything you do with your palms, your hands down, and then you can lift your palms up to the next stage. So you still can get very good results. So you can do kind of like a seated meditation, seated on a chair for Kevin. Okay. And Hu Mei Hua is asking, is it less good to do standing meditation at home in 17th floor? Now, very good question. Okay. The thing is this, even if you live on a high-rise building, you can actually get the effects. Okay, you might feel that it's less, right? Some of it can be psychological, but even if you're doing it, right, that's because Earth Qi is in the atmosphere. The Earth's energy is in the atmosphere. You still can get good results. Of course, the best results is you go to the park or you go downstairs near a tree. Now, I assure you this, if you find a good tree, you stand next to it, you don't even need to touch it. Okay, I'm not suggesting, I don't recommend people to touch the tree in case there are spirits in the tree or whatever. You stand next to it above the roots. You know the roots of the tree? You know, if you want to know where the roots of a tree are, you look at the leaves, okay? Where there are leaves above you, there are roots underground. As long as the tree is not in a pot. Okay, as long as the tree is not in a pot, it's growing on the ground. If there are leaves above you, you want to stand in the shade, and you look down, there will be roots underground. So you want to stand above the roots, and it's going to help you with your grounding. This is what standing meditation is about, grounding. Okay? Corinne asked a very good question. Any closing protocol after the practice of standing meditation? Now, to be thorough, the real standing meditation, there's an opening sequence, there's a closing sequence, but these are not the most important details. Now, if you really want a closing protocol, I'm going to share with you all a closing protocol, especially for those who do the hands up version. Okay, so if you're doing the hands up version, what you've done is you've collected a lot of qi here. So at the end of your standing meditation practice, you want to breathe in the qi here. So you can imagine you're breathing in using your palms. So your palms are chakra, and you're breathing in. You want to absorb all this qi into your body. Just breathe in And if you keep doing it, you breathe in, bearing in mind you want to take in all this energy into your body, and you will notice that the chi sensation in your hands, everything will reduce. When you've done enough, the last thing you do is you take a deep breath, inhale, you continue to breathe in until there's no more. Inhale. So when you inhale, the last one, you inhale and you stretch out your hands. And when you exhale, you lower your hands this way. Now, when you lower your hands, you want to bring your elbows down. It's all curved. These are very fine details that, I think for beginners is too much to remember. Too much to remember. But if you're really very interested, I used to do Qigong classes and everything. With the COVID situation no longer in the park, that's what I used to do. So you can actually do this. So at the last bit, you inhale, stretch out your hands straight, but relax. Inhale, relax. And then you exhale. When you exhale, you're bringing your elbow down, and you should feel the chi flow down in your hands. And after doing standing meditation, your hands should be all tingling, and chi is flowing all around you. And your hands will continue to tingle it depends how unblocked you are, how much of the channels are unblocked. You could feel your hands tingling for a good few hours. Again, depending on what you do. If you touch your mobile phone is going to screw up all your chi that you've accumulated. So I do advise people, don't touch so much of your mobile phones. Okay, so that is the closing sequence. All right, thank you, Olivier. See you soon. So Corinne, I hope that answers your question. Corinne, are you still here? Yep, okay, you're still here. Okay, I hope that answers your question. That is the closing protocol. And there's a simple closing protocol. In fact, for those who are very into standing meditation, if you're really very into standing meditation, there's an opening protocol, and even the way you open to stand, the way you open to get your feet shoulder width apart, there are nitty-gritty details that can go into that. But I find that these are the nitty-gritty details that are not the most important, right? What I've condensed here today is the most important points that will get you the most results within a short time, right? And if I were to go into all the other tiny details, you're going to get all cluttered. So just get these basics right. You understand the subtle energy body system, so that now you know why you do the things that you do for standing meditation. Okay. Okay, Evan asked a very good question. Can this standing meditation be done after a heavy meal? How many hours gap needed? Okay, you can even do it after a heavy meal. Now, there have been times when Cordelia and myself, we have a very heavy meal, and you kind of feel like, whoa, your stomach is just so bloated. And if you do Qigong after that, it helps get the food digested faster. And don't be surprised after you do your standing meditation or any Qigong practice, you feel hungry after that, right? Some of you will feel hungry after that because your body is activated, your energy channels are activated, and it starts using energy from your body. In fact, that's what Qi is about. Qi is about respiration. It's about getting energy from food too. So a lot of it is going to come from your body. So it will help with your digestion. So the only thing is this, remember the warm-up, right? The warm-up is not very good if you do it with a full stomach. You're going to find if you do your twisting, you're going to belch out, right? So you look at your situation. If you are having a very full stomach, that warm-up won't be very good, or you want to do it very slowly. Okay, you want to do the warm-up slowly so that you can still unblock your spine and all the energy channels to help with your standing meditation practice. All right. Okay. Did I miss any question? Any other questions? No? If no, then when will be the next class? Now today we have a 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. we have a UQ, right? Unity Qigong class. For standing meditation, so far the demand is not quite there. Today there seems to be more. Maybe it's a more earthly hour. If there's a demand for it, I might do another standing meditation class. But the way I'm trying to do it is this. I'm trying to cover all the basics for people to learn, because most people are coming here, they don't understand all these basics. So I would like to get everyone on the basics first. And maybe after a while in the future, if you guys are really serious about it, I will talk about standing meditation part 2, whereby I will talk furthermore into the nitty-gritty details into what we are doing, right? But normally it's not easy to do that, because the way I teach is this. I want everyone to understand why they do the things that they do. So those people who are learning Infinity Healing, who are on Infinity program, right? Infinity Healing, whereby you learn to be an energy healer, or you learn more about subtle energies, I teach more, right? I teach more there, because that's where I really explain all the details, so that to help everyone understand, and so that in the future you can go out and teach other people. This is in general, I don't right now for all this Unity Qigong, whatever. I'm not saying for you to teach what I teach, you need to be certified by me. Okay, I don't do that, right? So you can go ahead and teach your Unity Qigong and whatever you've learned from me. Just by all means, share it. It's about sharing of knowledge. But if you really want to understand and know more, there's a lot more in the Infinity Healing program, or Infinity program, whereby we teach and we help people understand subtle energies and the nitty-gritty details. So when I teach Infinity Healing, there's a lot more that I teach, and even for the standing meditation that I practice, I incorporate a lot of things into my standing meditation, right? Already right now, I incorporate light meditation with my standing meditation, but I'm actually doing a few things at the same time. So within this half an hour that I am doing my standing meditation, I'm accomplishing many things. And this is because I know different things about subtle energies. So I incorporate all that I've learned and compress it into the same time. And you need to understand what are the things that you can put together. Because some things, if you anyhow mix, you might end up with some energy problems. So you need to understand, right? So right now, for all the donation basis online classes, I'm just teaching the basics. And in the Infinity program, I will teach more of the details. All right? So Nita is asking, how long do we have to do the standing meditation? Now, standing meditation, you will notice that at the beginning, if you can even stand for 10 minutes, that's an accomplishment. Okay, a lot of you are going to find that even standing still for 10 minutes is difficult. Your thighs are going to ache. So you start with 10 minutes, you work it up, 10 minutes to 15 minutes. And I recommend a good amount of time is half an hour, right? Try to do half an hour of it. And before you do it, you need to do some warm up, some Unity Qigong, right? So again, it depends on how much time you have. So the more time you have, the better. So we have 24 hours a day. We need to decide how to use our time. And you will notice that if you do standing meditation and you incorporate more of the practices into it, your health will improve vastly. And I nowadays, if I don't always do sitting meditation, because I find standing meditation has its own advantages, right? Because of the grounding, we get the feet to ground. Seated meditation actually has a different kind of objective if you look into the energy perspective, especially those people doing the full lotus position and all this, right? Because the feet chakra is actually pointed up. They are doing it more for spiritual practices, not so much for grounding. So again, you need to understand and you need to know what you want. So if you're really about physical health, standing meditation is the one, and you try to incorporate the other practices, UQ and light meditation. All right. Kevin is asking, does the fingers need to be pointing downwards during the first step? Yes. So in the hands down, if your hands are down, your fingers are down. And what we're trying to do is we want our fingers our hands and fingers to extend downwards and connect with the earth, right? And when you do that, you're going to find tingling position in your fingers, okay? So you do it the hands down position, you start doing with the hands down position, and you do a lot of exhales, and that's going to help you ground and unblock a lot of negative energies. You start with that, right? And before you move on to your palms up, your hands up position. This way you get more results by the time you get to your palms up, because palms up is actually about accumulating chi. Okay. All right. Okay. If there are no more questions, don't have to go. Thank you for joining me. Right. So have a good day. Have a good Sunday. If you are interested in UQ, see you tonight. I have like 2 minutes more if there's any other question. Otherwise, we'll just end this session. Any other questions? No? All right, then thank you everyone. If you still have questions, you can always private message me on WhatsApp or WeChat, right? I'll try to address them whenever I'm free. Okay? Have a good day, have a good Sunday. See you tonight if you are interested in EQ, Unity Qigong. Goodbye.